It's been harder to meet friends than it was in college. Again, people are a little bit more busy with their time. People are a little bit more spread out in the city that we're living. So, one, it's hard to find that time to get together, and two, it's harder to organize events.
I think it's different. I think it's harder, but it's different. I don't think it's really fair to say it's easier or harder, but it's different. You obviously just don't run into people anymore. You have to put more effort. You have to drive. You have to call them. You have to make a date. It's not like you could just say like, hey, what are you doing right now? It doesn't work that way because you're all working and everyone's doing different things. Some people work like terrible night shifts and some people work really early in the morning and your schedules don't always sync up. But I don't think it's necessarily like impossible. It's just whether or not the other people want to make that effort, and you make that effort too.
I feel like it's both easier and harder to make new friends now that I'm out of college, because when you're in college, you're around so many different people, and the availability of people makes it easier for you to reach out and get in contact with someone. But in the real world, you're actually, where you're working, you're actually surrounded by people that kind of have the same motivation, same goals as you. So I feel like even though there's fewer people that you're around, the people themselves are actually very similar to you. So it's easier to connect with them. So it's kind of both easy and difficult. It really depends on how you look at it.
Easier to meet people in college, but it's also possible to meet people outside of college if you are somewhat tech savvy with social media. But overall, in college, you do have a dorm kind of set up if that's the case, and if it's not, then you have classmates that you can interact with, and you have the common ground of having a course, where outside of school, the common focus might be a job, but you only have maybe 5 to 10 employees that you work with, so they might be older and it might not just be a good fit. Where in college you have, if you're taking a few classes, you might have 50 people to choose from or 100 people to choose from and to become friends with. So overall, I think college is easier.
It is more difficult to make friends once you're out of school because you have to be more intentional and kind of go out of your way to meet new friends. In college, you're often living with all these people. You would go to class with them each day. It's just kind of natural. You're there with them. And, once you start working, you kind of have to go out of your way and be kind of the person who makes that effort to make new friends.
I think it's more challenging to meet new people after college because when you go to college, that's basically what you're going there. You're going there to meet people. And when you go to college, you go with the idea that everyone's just going to meet new people, make friends, build relationships. But when you get out of college, it's kind of difficult because you're working, you're kind of with the same people all the time.
Definitely harder to meet people. I mean, if I'm a pretty social person to begin with, so I like meeting people in general, but like it's a lot when you're just a normal guy out in the real world. It's a lot harder just to meet someone else, because you don't have that like, hey, you can't be like, hey, I'm a college student, you're a college student, let's hang out. It's like you can't. It doesn't work like that in the real world. It's like we have to be like co-workers, or we have to be involved in some way in order for me to make it seem like a normal thing. But yeah, it's a lot harder.